horror, ferocity, insanity. All these words perfectly describe the Demogorgon.
Wait, that's not him. That's the one from Stranger Things. That looks nothing like the actual one. Get this gross thing out of my video. Here. Ah, yes. Proper grossness has been restored.
The Prince of Demons represents duality and the madness that comes from that duality. The Demogorgon represents reflections and how our fixation on our reflections can be the undoing of our minds. Welcome back to the Deck of Many Toy Boxes, viewers, and join me as we descend into the 88th layer of the abyss and learn how to run the Demogorgon. Looking at the stat block, we find one of the strongest creatures in all of Dungeons & Dragons. The Demogorgon has thick skin that rivals the strongest of armor, with an AC of 22. He is beefy, with 496 hit points. The Demogorgon's lair is described as an endless sea of briny water, with a half-submerged castle in the center, which explains why the Demogorgon not only has a 50-foot speed, but a 50-foot swim speed as well. The Demogorgon boasts a strength of 29, making him a prime candidate for the Olympic lifting event. He isn't the most agile individual at 18 feet tall, but I suppose his monkey heads give him something, which is the only explanation I have for why his dexterity is 14 and not like 10. His chonkness is derived mainly from his high constitution of 26. The Demogorgon is one of the most intelligent monsters in all of D&D, having a 20, and his wisdom is nothing to scoff at either, at 17. His charisma is a 25.
Forget what I said about the red dragon. You gotta be careful that the tentacle-armed monkey man doesn't steal your woman, bro.
Anyways, the Demogorgon is CR 26, giving him a huge proficiency bonus of +8. This will come in handy for those dexterity and wisdom saves. Speaking of, the Demogorgon is proficient with dexterity, constitution, wisdom, and charisma saves. Yay! As for skills, the Demogorgon has proficiency with the insight skill, and has expertise in the perception skill, 'cause you know, with 4 nostrils, ears, and eyes, there is no hiding from the deranged simian. Being a demon, he resists all forms of cold, fire, and lightning damage, and his powerful build is immune to all poisons, as well as any non-magical weapons that deal piercing, slashing, or bludgeoning damage. The Demogorgon is adept at charming and frightening individuals, making him immune to any attempts to do the same to him, as well as any attempts to poison him or cause him to become exhausted. As if his expertise in perception wasn't already enough, the Demogorgon has true sight out to 120 feet, allowing him to see through all manners of illusions, and has a passive perception of 29. There will be no tricks with the Demon Lord, as he speaks all languages and can even telepathically communicate out to a range of 120 feet.
I mean, if I had 2 giant monkey heads as my speaking holes, I'd probably talk to people with the power of my psychic brain, not my gross voice.
Moving on to the Demogorgon's abilities and actions. The Demogorgon has many spells he can innately cast, using his impressive charisma score to do so. He can cast Detect Magic and Major Image at will, Dispel Magic, Fear, and Telekinesis 3 times per day each, and once per day he can cast the powerful Feeble Mind and Project Image spells. Being a legendary creature, the Demogorgon has 3 uses of his legendary resistance every day. On top of that, he resists magic, and his tentacle and tails are magical. I really don't know how to explain why or what makes his tentacle slaps considered magical. I'm just going to say that the reason is that the giant monkey squid projects some of his own demonic life force into the slaps to make them overcome the character's resistances and such. That's the best I've got. And finally, as if it wasn't obvious, the Demogorgon has 2 heads, which makes him much harder to stun, blind, deafen, or knock unconscious, because you have to do it twice. As for actions, the Demogorgon can use Double Slap on his turns, doing 35 damage and reducing the target's hit point maximum by the damage taken if they fail a save, or he can Look at You. menacingly. Seriously, though, I think the idea of the Demogorgon's literal gaze possibly making a character go insane, hypnotize them, or stun them is just a really cool, and adds a whole new angle to the Demon Lord's abilities. It turns him from a slap-happy BBEG to an actual threatening villain. The Demogorgon, being legendary, also has legendary actions, but he only has 2. I guess this is to make sure he isn't like CR27 or 28, but I don't entirely know why. Anyway, he has 2 legendary action options as well. He can either use Wake Up Slap with his tail, dealing the target 31 bludgeoning damage and 22 necrotic damage, or Look at You. Again. Except he can't hypnotize you unless he uses his own turn to look at you, for some reason. That stat block was insane. Let's move on to his personality and running him in combat. The Demogorgon is intelligent and charismatic. That being said, he also personifies madness. If I was running the Demogorgon, I would have him speak to the party in a deep, demonic but intelligent voice, and interject every few sentences with hideous laughter and screams. Throw in some wisdom saving throws against indefinite madness, and the Demogorgon's insanity really comes to life. Remember, the Demon Lord is proficient with insight, making any attempts to deceive him all but futile. On top of that, the Demogorgon's true sight makes illusions all but useless. With that all out of the way, it's time to roll for initiative. Much like the last video, it's safe to assume the Demogorgon isn't going first. He's faster than the dragon from the last episode, but he's still relatively slow compared to the level of adventurers he is probably facing. Placing him 4th in the initiative count makes sense given his dexterity and the level the party would face him at. Obviously, any characters that are going first are going to attempt to get the upper hand relatively quickly, but they don't realize just how dangerous the Demogorgon is. Both his tail and tentacle attacks have long reaches, 15 feet and 10 feet respectively, making any characters who thought they might try to rush the Prince of Demons to distract him feel quite foolish indeed. The Demogorgon is very smart and will probably attempt to use his maddening gaze legendary action on any character that reveal their spellcasting ability or long-range preference. The Demogorgon knows he doesn't have the best options for dealing with longer-range combatants, so disabling them with his gaze by preventing them from looking at him or restricting their options makes dealing with them much easier. As for close range, at full strength, any character thinking they can rush the Demon Lord will find his tail a fearsome weapon. Finally, the Demon Lord's turn. The Demogorgon has tons of options on each of his turns. He can cast one of his innate spells, although most of those spells are much more suited to role-playing before and after a combat encounter. More likely, the Demon Lord will continue on his attempts to hinder the party with his gaze action. If there are any characters within range of course, the Demon Lord is going to give them a good spanking so they remember not to make that mistake again. Once the Prince of Demons feels that the party is sufficiently weakened with his innate spells, tentacle attacks, and gaze, the Demon Lord goes on the offensive, rushing in to slap the party silly with his powerful tentacles and tail. The Demogorgon would leave no characters alive. This is a fight to the death, whenever and wherever the party encounters him. The sibilant beast is an utterly evil being, and is smart enough to know that if he spares anyone in the party, they will plot to destroy him, like he would do if he were in their situation. So the result of the fight can only be 2 things: a TPK or the Demon Lord being sent back to the depths of the abyss. It is highly unlikely the party would encounter the Demon Lord in his home in the abyss, but if they do, and they seem to be winning, the Demon Lord would retreat from the fight and let some lesser demons weaken the party further before swooping in to finish them off. The main point when using the Demogorgon in combat is to make the Demon Lord feel powerful. Make sure he actually challenges or potentially even kills the characters so that he feels like a genuine threat. The Demogorgon should be reserved for the final encounter in a campaign, so the players can have an ultimate sense of accomplishment for sending him back, screaming, into the abyss. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning to run this maddening monster as much as I did. And if you liked it that much, I hope you would consider subscribing and giving this video a like. as well as sharing this video with anyone you know who likes the Demogorgon, or is confused why this deranged two-headed monkey lizard monster comes up on Google when they look up Demogorgon after watching Stranger Things. Leave your comments down below for what legendary monster you'd like to learn to run next. Without further ado, let's reveal the next creature in the deck. It's a cloud giant smiling one. Very interesting indeed.